1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm really excited to have you guys on this set. I talk about cybersecurity and I'm like, oh, who are the best people to have on this set? And I told myself, oh, these guys are experts. So what would be the best thing to do? Oh, let me bring you guys. And thank you so much. I've been chasing you guys for almost a month now. Thank you so much for coming on the set.
Thank you.
And I'm sure viewers online, they are really excited to have you guys around. So first things first, we all know that cybersecurity is all about protecting your data. You agree, right?
Yes.
Yeah, protecting your data. And for cybersecurity to exist, there is what? Data. I would like to hear your stories about how cybersecurity, how before and after of you being aware of cybersecurity, because we're talking about cybersecurity awareness today. Now, whilst you were not aware of cybersecurity, what damages has it caused to your own particular self? I want to hear your own personal stories. We have many stories on cybersecurity out there, but this time around, I'm interested in your own stories. How cybersecurity, how you are not aware and how it has affected you, and what are the measures you took, especially when you become aware of cybersecurity. Abby, I think I want to hear from you now.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. So, regarding some of the events that I've had regarding cybersecurity, I've had a lot of events, a lot of incidents that have occurred to me probably before I, joined into this line of being a cybersecurity expert. So before now, I used to be a very big time crypto guy. I was really deep into crypto, talk about the airdrops, talk about doing writing on block, crypto, writing on cryptocurrencies for different blockchains and all of those, So I was really invested in it. But however, I did not take cybersecurity seriously. Because over there, we always believe that once you have the memory saved, you have them kept, offline, you are good. But I was of the opinion that you can still have some of the mnemonics. So mnemonics for blockchain is just your, should I say, passphrase or probably your password. So depending on the blockchain in which you are on, so you have this passphrase, especially if you are on decentralized blockchain. Of course, there's centralized blockchain too. The popular Binance that everyone's talking about, that's a centralized blockchain. But of course, for the decentralized one, that's talking about the trust wallets. Talking about some of these other blockchains and all of that. So yeah. So when I was attacked, then I do keep my mnemonics on my email. Yeah. So it just so happened that there was a system I was using before. I kind of sold the system and I forgot to properly remove my information from those devices. So the person who got hold of that, was able to penetrate all my information using, my information that I already stored. I was stored on that laptop and all of those things. So it happened very fast. But if I have been information security aware or cybersecurity aware before now, I would have known that first of all, when I'm not using the system, I'm supposed to flash the system, probably do a hard reset, probably take away the antiques and just.
So that person, did the person have access to your money?
Of course, once you have access to the passphrase or probably the mnemonics, you have access to all of this money. So the only part where you can be seen is if there is like a centralized exchange, like Binance, like KuCoin, and the rest of that. So you can also enable some two-factor authentication to those ones. But for the decentralized one, it's just your passphrase, and if your passphrase have been breached, if you do not write them out and probably write them offline, probably you have a book where you write them and keep them. Once it has been breached, there's nothing you can do about it.
God, I can imagine what an experience. Wow. So is that the experience that really, really triggered you to go learn about cybersecurity?
Yes, I think that was what actually motivated me, to take it much more seriously. Because then I was just like, what's the thing? What is this cybersecurity?
Hey, God.
But then when it happened, it changed my whole working, my whole learning about what cybersecurity should be. It's not just something that organization. I'm always of the opinion that it should be more of the organization, but I forgot the fact that I also have my own personal data, which I'm supposed to ensure that they are safe.
You know, the reason why I asked for your personalized stories is because I know that we preached it more than millions times that organizations need to be cybersecurity aware. They need to put in measures to avoid cyber attacks, phishing, or whatever phrases you guys talk about when you talk about all these attackers. But then people need to also be aware that you can also be attacked cyberly. If there's a word for that. So that's why I've heard stories of people putting out their account numbers, putting out their PIN on the social media platforms. So people will even ask you what's your mother's name, what's your daddy's name, and then you put it there. You don't know who is looking at you, you don't know who is, and then you come back 6 months later. Oh, my account was robbed, my money was taken. That's some form of an attack. What do you see to that line? Have you ever experienced such? I want to hear your stories too. Have you ever experienced such cyber attack before?
Okay, so personally, I wouldn't say I have experienced such before, but based on implementation process with organization, or probably on social media and so on, you can learn from various experience. I think one of the ones that I heard of that is very much frightening is about a woman who shares information about her family on social media, and maybe some certain attackers were tracking her, and based on the images that she shared on the blog, they were able to track her address, they were able to track exactly where she was staying, and with that kind of vulnerability, they were able to get access to her family, and they held her to ransom by kidnapping her family and things like that. So one of the things that I have come across, or probably I've decided to tell people that are willing to help, is for every information that you dispose out there is a form of vulnerability on the path. And as much as possible, you should be cautious of what information that you want people to know. On social media today, we see so many family.
Being in this space, I'm this kind of person that I used to be a very active Facebook user. And on Facebook now, try to show off, okay, this is what it is now, this and that, You on my own end, I was not aware that I was actually disclosing a lot of information that people are not supposed to ordinarily have. Then after this incident occurred, then I kind of traced myself. So if you go to my Facebook account now, you can't really see anything.
Talk about Facebook. Yeah. I see a lot of people's accounts being hacked, and then you see people posting on that same particular hacked account that, oh, I spent 1,000 naira to get 1 million naira. You need to do this to get this amount. I think now I'm coming into organizations because I think that's also a kind of deformity in the place of that organization. How can people's account be hacked even though they have access to their password, they have full access to their personal accounts? I feel that if they are taking every measures against cyber attacks, my account with them should not be hacked. Or what do you think? For example, I have a bank account, and then at one point or the other, somebody maybe take away my money, and then I went to the bank and I was like, okay, I didn't make any transaction. What happened? Why is my money gone? I think the organization, the particular bank, if they are taking measures against cyber attacks, don't you think my money would have been safe?
Okay, so there's really little the bank can actually do, because let me start with the Facebook first before I move to the accounts. So for the Facebook, there's really little those organizations can do. What they can do is probably put in some security features, for, and also probably advise us on how to use your account and all of those things. So, Facebook as of now, you can secure an account by probably, enacting or enabling two-factor authentication. After your password, you also have the two-factor authentication, probably Google authentication or probably Microsoft authentication. So you can use any of those things. So now that gives you an extra leverage, or gives you an extra security precaution on how to protect your account. So even if a threat actor, got access to your password, they still need something to authenticate that. And also, I think Facebook has also been preaching the fact, I've been preaching the knowledge of your password, because at this state, or let's say this country that where we are, we are so fond of using the very easy password. Most of the attacks now come on Facebook, probably for our bank app, it's always through the password. So most organizations, most hackers or threat actors ask to do this brute force. Without brute force is when they go for password and all of those things. So they can easily do that. Those tools they use can easily spend up like over 1,000 passwords in seconds. So if you are not using something really very strong, so it's gonna be very easy. A matter of minutes before they can actually crack the password. So now for that advance, I think most banks in Nigeria now, due to the CBN blueprint of 2022, so they have been able to actually do a lot of protection of the customers' data and also their finances. So what they do is that if an organization is actually ISO 27001 certified, and that is talking about information security, cybersecurity, and privacy protection, if they are actually certified to those standards, they will put it in place. There's a part underneath that standard that is plus 7.4, and that plus 7.4 speaks to communication. So there's this certain part whereby those banks are mandated to, have some certain information. Okay, so if you get a certain message or probably a certain link on your email, saying that okay, you can access your internet banking using this link, always ensure to check if that URL is from the bank. So those are form of communication regarding some security precaution or their clients can take. So in situation whereby you are not taking that, then a social engineer can actually manipulate you to get your data and steal your money. So there was this occurrence that I saw recently on Twitter, which one guy was saying that OPay has one of the best cards, and he took a screenshot of his ATM. These are occurrences, and these are things that it's supposed to be a private information because once an hacker,
Whoa, wait, he snapped his ATM card.
Yes. So he took a picture of it, said, then the caption reads, OPay has one of the best design for their cards. There's people were now like, okay, can we see the back to see in the back, so that because once you have access to this kind of information, trust me, really, there's very little you can actually do to protect. Only if you disable. So there are always precaution on precaution. So even if you misplace your cards, you can still even deactivate those cards using your bank app. So there are some. I know for GTB you can deactivate. I know for OPay you can also deactivate. So I can't say for all your cards. So these are annual. I feel protection of information really starts with not just the bank, it's the people really. So even the people working in the bank and even the people who are also customers. So it's majorly on people really. Yeah,
and to buttress on what he said, when we are talking about security, we can look at it from the point of maybe from the bank perspective now. And probably the bank, they need to do some certain level of configuration on their firewalls, on their devices, their servers and the likes. But also when it comes to the people making use of those platforms, like for instance, you are making use of GT Bank app, for instance, and probably you have some sensitive information, probably your password there, and you are imputing your password in a public place where someone can drop and probably look at you and see the password itself. Definitely that's a vulnerability in itself. So it's actually of great importance that people also should understand that as much as those financial institutions have their various responsibility in order to protect their services, their infrastructure as the case may be, that users as well should take ownership of those things that is within their own capacity, and they should make sure that they don't leak certain information out, whether knowingly or unknowingly. Because if you are saying you are ignorant of something, it's nobody's fault, it's your fault. So as much as possible, your password is your password, so you should keep it safe from the next person. And I think in an organization I heard of a story where someone, there's this particular thing in my SMS I was talking about clearness based strength. Now, a particular person was in that organization, and the person just decided to walk to the restroom within 2-3 minutes. And since it was a policy in the organization that your screen must not be left open, the CEO was passing by and the person just decided to type the resignation of the person and send it to himself. Now, the CEO decided not to call the person and I saw your resignation, what is the problem? And the person was shocked. I did nothing like that. But then the policy exists within the organization that once you are leaving your system, you should lock your screen. So these are one of the advantages, one of the very much important parts of information security. That once you are, even within the organization, so most of the time we look at attackers to always come from the inside. Trust me, nothing will actually work if somebody inside did not leak a secret. When it comes to the level of security, especially in Nigerian banks, you can't say because you're an attacker, you're an hacker, you just want to gain access to a platform that you don't have a blueprint of what exactly is that platform about. So somebody has to give you a feedback like, hey, this is actually what you can do, this is how you can come in. So that is to say that as much as we are looking at attackers to come from the external environment, we should look inwardly as well within the organization, because there are staffs, there are colleagues in the office that you never can tell exactly. Definitely, you never can tell what they have. Even the cleaners as well, you never can tell. The cleaner might be so much IT inclined, and you just feel it's just a cleaner. The person can just go over to your system and.
There was a phrase that cyber attackers are very patient.
Yeah.
They are not interested in just doing immediately. They don't want to attack you immediately, because there was a time I was reading about phishing, and I was told that don't just click on any link that's sent to your mail or something. If possible, you have become a vulnerability for your organization. They can have access to, and I'm like, wow, just from a link. So let's talk about how cyber attackers can be patient until they get what they want. Is that so true?
If I can say something about that, there's something we learned back in school in further mathematics. They call that thing permutation and combination. That is, they look at factorial. If you're saying 4 factorial, for instance, that is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And if you look at that, that's actually 24. And that is trying to tell you that there are 24 ways. If there are 4 different variables, that means there are 24. Now, I can decide to test those 4 combinations in 24 ways. That means if I keep trying it for 24 weeks, there's certainty I will get the right answer. Yes, there's certainty I will get the right answer. So when we are talking about being secure or being, that's why most of the time password policies being introduced to the organization will tell you that you try to use passwords that are not related to your name or something that is identifiable to you. You look at someone like, let me use myself, Damilare for instance, and I just decided to okay, my password is going to be Damilare 1, 2, 3, 4. Someone can sit down and just your name is Damilare. It's a variable. 1, 2, 3, 4 is something that one can think.
Yes.
So one just should be creative in that sense that you can just decide to maneuver around information that you can use as your passphrase or password as the case may be. And also, we're actually in an era where the level of authentication that we have is beyond password. Now we have biometrics, we have different token based, we have different multi-factor authentication as well. So we should think as an organization, think beyond the traditional way of password, just your user password alone. Especially when it comes to networks, when it comes to database, the likes, we should be very critical about that.
Thank you so much, Damilare. That's really insightful. That shows how patient people can be when they want to get an information.
Exactly.
Wow, amazing. Yes, we'll be talking about vulnerabilities, we'll be talking about risk, and I think I want to bring in one more threat. Can you differentiate what these 3 are, Abiodun, especially in relation to organizations?
Okay, so pertaining to organizations, these risks, vulnerabilities, and threats, they are more of the same, but the way and manner in which they occur is kind of different. So for vulnerabilities, it's just a general weakness in the system. So it could be a system, it could be in our hardware, it could be in people. An example of a vulnerability on the system could be a complex system which the staff in the organization cannot really maneuver their way on it. So that's a vulnerability because they can make mistakes on it. So for that of people, it's probably if those people have not been trained, if you have not probably enrolled your staff for an awareness training or probably enrolled them for certifications, all of those things, those are traits. Because those are vulnerabilities rather. Because when these threat actors come, they will act on their negligence and also their ignorance based on the fact that they don't have. So vulnerability are just weaknesses. Let's leave it as that. Also, it could be a weakness in our hardware, it could be a weakness in our personnel, it could be a weakness in our facility. Imagine a building without gates. So that means that building is vulnerable. It's vulnerable. Yeah, imagine something like that. Okay, so now threat is just, should I say, there are consequences, really. There are consequences for this vulnerability being exploited. So whenever a vulnerability is exploited, that's when it becomes a threat. So all vulnerabilities are being exploited by threat actors. So these threat actors are the people that act on those vulnerabilities. So for the risk, really, risk is just the way we do it for that of the ISMS is just it could be liability, likelihood, of a threat, or likelihood of a vulnerability being exploited, multiplied by the threat, the impact, the consequences of it actually being happening. So it's always like risk is caused to likelihood times impact, and of course because of our discourse. So there are more of the same really, but beliefs is just about the actual position of how vulnerable or of how vulnerable an organization could be, just assessing the current, based on the existing controls this organization has put in place, how likely is this threat supposed to happen or this vulnerability being exploited. So the risk of it is very important, and that's why we take these risks very important. So for ISMS in ISO 27001, whenever we talk about risks, so risks come under two aspects for ISMS. So it comes under the cost 6 and plus 8. So the cost 6 is more about planning for how we want to assess our risk and also how we want to treat our risk. They're also talking about how to identify some of those risks and also opportunities. Then the cause 8 is now we actually, actualizing, or should I say activating or acting upon those processes or procedures that are necessary. So it comes under 2 processes. That's to show how important it is, because it's underneath this, this risk. You have to identify your risk assets. That means you have to identify your information asset right now. So you first of all, of course, probably list out, document all the assets in the organization. Then of course you conduct that risk assessment on them, just so you know what you have in place now and of course what you can do to improve on it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I see how organizations need to be aware, not only in the awareness part, they need to also implement these cybersecurity measures to avoid future risk or threats or what have you. And you made mention of the ISMS, information security. Everybody needs to be certified, especially organizations. So, Damilare, speaking about how organizations need to be aware, not only be aware now, but implement and put in measures in place to avoid cyber attacks, or even be ready for any cyber attacker that is trying to penetrate into their system. You get aside the ISMS, because he mentioned the information security, but organizations getting certified in this aspect. What other products do you think organizations need to have to avoid all these things?
So aside from products, we have products, various from Huawei to Checkpoint to so forth. They are nameless. But aside from talking about various products, I think one of the most important things that organizations need to look at is they need to look at the people, they need to look at the process, then consider the technology. So under the technology is when we are considering what products should be used. And here we look at the likes of Sophos, which is actually one of the most beautiful tools that you can use out there with regards to those ISMS control, information security controls, as the case may be. The likes of web filtering, the likes of advanced threat protection, the ability for those for that particular tool to understand the behavioral analysis or to perform the behavioral analysis on several threats, as the case may be. And this is actually one of those beautiful things about that tool, which is when certain threats come into that system or that firewall, as the case may be, they have that intelligence to understand the variant of those threats. The new variant is everything that has like a subset of such a threat, because threats will come from different angles. So they have the ability to study that pattern and prevent future events or future attacks, as the case may be. And there are so many other things that exist within that tool that until you gain access or probably procure such a tool before you can see. But I can assure you that those the tool itself, Sophos, Checkpoint, Fortinet, they are numerous. Now, those two will really address several things you need to put into consideration with regards to your intrusion detection system, intrusion prevention system, as the case may be. So they are numerous. So once you get access, so if you need to understand exactly about Sophos, I think you can come to PSC, Panoramic Synergy Enterprise. We will explain to you in full details and we'll do some demos as well for you. And you will see that it's one of those best tools you can really adopt.
Amazing. I mean, do you have anything to say?
Okay, so in terms of products, so these are not actually products, but they are more of like a framework. Talking about what processes we need to put in place, what controls we need to put in place. So just to help give these tools that we're talking about a strategic direction of how they should operate. So there are numerous standards and framework we can implement in order to ensure information security is actually secure in an organization. So there are that of ISO 27001 that speaks to information security, cyber security, and of course data privacy. We have the ISO 27017 that speaks to cloud computing. We have that of ISO 27032 that speaks to cyber security alone. Yeah. Then also we have one of COVID. So COVID is a framework on its own that we have NIST 800. So that speaks to information security too. So, but I actually agree with what he says, regarding the technology and all. But in my own opinion, I feel the organization really should be much more focused on the people. Yeah, of course, technology is needed to make the work a bit easy, or should I say very easy. But if the people in the organization are not actually trained and they are not really information security aware, so they are going to not undo those systems or probably their processes are weak. They will still give gap for threat actor to actually capitalize on that. So that's why, in my own view, I'm always of the opinion that the greatest weakness of organization is people. And the funny part is the greatest asset still.
It's still the people.
It's still the people.
Thank you so much, Abby. And that's why I started on your personal experiences, because I know that this being, before you can penetrate a whole organization, it has to come from a tiny group. Yeah. And most of the time, it is the people. Who's going to click the phishing link? It's still the people. So everyone in the organization, no matter how high or low your rank is, needs to be cyber aware. Yeah. And that brings us to the end of TECHNOVATION for this month. Thank you so much, guys. I really enjoyed this conversation. More importantly, you guys opened my eyes to many, many things. I hope next time you guys will be here.
Of course.
Thank you so much. And this brings us to the end of TECHNOVATION for this month. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. I know you enjoyed this particular conversation. If you need more information concerning cybersecurity awareness, information security, and how you go about it as an organization or as a people or as a person, kindly visit www.panoramic.co.uk or send us a mail at businessadvisory@panoramic.co.uk. Thank you so much once again, guys, for coming. I really appreciate it. And until next time, TECHNOVATION will be back.